Okay, Dom. So what you want to do, you want to draw a couple lines, maybe about 8 inches long or so, maybe even a little bit shorter. Just draw some basic lines, real straightforward stuff. Convert them both to cut path. Obviously those are cut paths. And then go up to your settings menu, go to settings. Oh, fuck. Sorry, my camera's not focusing. There we go. You're going to go to height control, and on your system, since my computer's not hooked to a machine, so on your computer at the shop, this box and this box here in the cutter location adjustment will be available to check. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to check both those boxes, and then put your torch height control in like you normally do, or use torch height control, sense material to 0, all that stuff. And you want to set your cut height. So we'll say cut height to 0.06, pierce height 0.15. Then you will close out of this menu, and you will run over to one of these lines, and you'll cut it. Okay, you'll cut the first line. There's a delay in the arc voltage sampling for the software, for the digital height control. So what that first line is doing, it's setting, it's calibrating. So once you cut this first line right here, you go back into your settings, and these boxes down here will then be unchecked. Okay, so that means that the height control has been calibrated. These numbers, the arc voltage shift should probably be around like 0.6, 0.7 and change, somewhere around there. The higher the number, the further away the torch is going to be from the material. So if you go to cut and maybe it's too high, then just drop it down by, 1/10, and then try it again and see how that works. So after I look at that stuff, realize that this is unchecked. If it's not unchecked, maybe this one will be unchecked and this one will still be checked. You need to cut a longer line to give it, proper time to calibrate the height control. When you come back in for the second cut, the second line, what I like to do, I tell it to cut and then I stop it right in the middle of the cut, okay? And don't move anything. What you want to do, you want to maybe get something that you can measure the gap for the cut. So maybe a flat washer, something that mics out to what you want your cut height to be, and go to slide it, that washer, whatever you find that's that size, go to slide it under the torch. It should fit perfect, tight. If not, maybe the torch is a little high, then go into that arc voltage setting, this one right here, and just drop it down a little bit. If you're at 0.7, drop it down to 0.65. That's going to lower your torch that itty bitty bit, and that could be the difference. And then keep doing that. And once you get it to be at the right height, you will be good to go. A lot of people don't go through that second stage of, measuring the distance and things. They just kind of trust it. Sometimes, it's a PlasmaCAM, it's quirky. Sometimes it doesn't calibrate correctly. So that's a way for you to know that your height's where it needs to be to get you the best cut quality. And then once you do that, you're good to go until you switch material. I recommend doing this every morning or every time you get the machine up and running, just because, the air, barometric pressure, humidity, there's so many different variables that can affect the arc and the material. So, this is something I do every single time before I run the machine. And once you do it in the morning, you really don't have to deal with it throughout the day. So hopefully this helps you out. Hopefully you guys can get dialed in, and we'll definitely talk a little bit more about the fine cuts and bevel and all that stuff.